On September 13, 1943, as the sun rose over the Italian coastline, the world witnessed one of the first clashes between two philosophies of infantry warfare that would shape the future of modern combat. The Battle of Salerno had begun, and American soldiers carrying their trusted M1 Garands faced German paratroopers, wielding a weapon so rare and advanced it seemed to belong to another era. That weapon was the FG-42, a rifle designed not for the masses, but for the elite Fallschirmjäger of the Luftwaffe. What unfolded that day was more than a fight for ground. It was a confrontation between two visions of how a single soldier could wield power on the battlefield. The thunder of artillery mixed with the sharp crack of rifle fire as the M1 Garand and FG-42 echoed through the olive groves and shattered towns of southern Italy. It was the day paratroopers faced the future of firepower. The M1 Garand had already proven itself across North Africa and Sicily. Designed by the Canadian-born American engineer John C. Garand and adopted in 1936, it was the pride of the United States Army, the first standard-issue semi-automatic rifle in the world. Firing the powerful .30-06 Springfield cartridge, it gave the American infantryman an unmatched advantage in rate of fire. While most of the world still relied on bolt-action rifles that fired one shot at a time, the Garand's gas-operated mechanism allowed 8 rounds to be fired as fast as a soldier could pull the trigger. The distinct metallic ping of the empty clip ejecting became a sound both feared and revered across battlefields, from Normandy to the Pacific. Soldiers trusted it completely. It was rugged, accurate and powerful, able to withstand the mud of France or the heat of Italy. The rifle symbolized American industrial might and the idea that every soldier deserved a weapon capable of meeting the enemy head-on. The German FG-42, however, was born from desperation and innovation. By 1940, the German paratroopers had proven themselves among the most daring and capable troops in the war, but their victories came at a heavy price. During the invasion of Crete in 1941, they had dropped into battle armed with pistols and submachine guns, while their rifles and machine guns were scattered across the drop zones. Thousands were killed before they could even reach their heavy weapons. The German High Command realized their elite paratroopers needed something new, a single weapon that could combine the firepower of a machine gun with the accuracy of a rifle, while being light enough to jump with. The answer came in the Fallschirmjäger 42, the FG-42, a rifle that was unlike anything the world had seen. The FG-42 fired the full-power 7.92 by 57mm Mauser cartridge, the same round used in the German K9 8K bolt-action rifle, but it did so in both semi-automatic and fully automatic modes. It had a side-mounted magazine to keep it compact for parachute jumps, and used advanced alloys and manufacturing techniques borrowed from aircraft production. The result was a weapon light enough for airborne troops, but powerful enough to provide suppressive fire. Its design was years ahead of its time, with a straight-line stock to reduce recoil, a built-in bipod, and even a muzzle brake. It looked alien compared to the wooden rifles of the day, sleek and deadly. But it was also incredibly expensive and difficult to produce. Only a few thousand were ever made, and they were reserved for the most elite German troops. At Salerno, the two rifles met face to face. American infantry advanced through olive fields and stone villages, supported by naval gunfire from the bay. The air was thick with dust and smoke. German paratroopers fought fiercely from concealed positions, their FG-42s spitting bursts of automatic fire that tore through walls and trees. The Garand-armed Americans responded with steady semi-automatic volleys, their shots precise and relentless. The rhythm of the battle was a study in contrasts. The M1 Garand fired with a measured cadence, each shot deliberate, each reload punctuated by that sharp metallic ping, or another clip flew free. The FG-42 answered with bursts that sounded more like a machine gun than a rifle, its high cyclic rate shaking the air in short violent storms of fire. For the American soldiers, the Garand was an extension of their will, a weapon that made them feel confident, even when outnumbered. Its semi-automatic system allowed them to maintain control, to pick their targets, to conserve ammunition. Its weight balanced perfectly, its recoil manageable. It turned every trained rifleman into a potential marksman. For the German paratroopers, the FG-42 was liberation. It gave them independence on the battlefield. They no longer needed to wait for heavy machine guns to be set up or for support to arrive. They could lay down suppressive fire themselves or switch to single shots for precision. It made them faster, more mobile, and more dangerous. In close quarters, it was devastating. In open fields, it was accurate, and at range it could rival any bolt-action rifle in service. But the perfection of the FG-42 came at a cost. Its complexity meant it could not be mass-produced. Each rifle took time, resources, and skilled labor to build. The materials used were expensive, and Germany's factories were already stretched thin by the demands of total war. The M1 Garand, by contrast, rolled off American assembly lines by the millions. It was designed with mass production in mind. Its parts could be replaced easily, its maintenance was simple, and it was built to endure the harshest conditions. In a war of attrition, numbers mattered as much as innovation, and that was where the Garand reigned supreme. The Battle of Salerno raged 4 days, and both rifles proved their worth. American units eventually pushed the German paratroopers back, but they did so with heavy losses. Soldiers who survived spoke later of the uncanny precision of the enemy's fire, of how single paratroopers seemed to hold off entire squads. They were facing not just brave men, but one of the most advanced rifles in the world. The FG-42 earned its reputation as a weapon far ahead of its time, but it also highlighted the limits of German industry and doctrine. It was a masterpiece too advanced for its era, a glimpse of what post-war weapons would become. The M1 Garand, on the other hand, represented balance between innovation and practicality. It was simple, reliable, and effective. It was the rifle that could be given to every soldier and still perform under fire. As the war continued, the M1 Garand became a symbol of Allied firepower and industrial dominance. It armed millions of men across Europe, the Pacific, and North Africa. The FG-42 remained rare, almost mythical, its influence spreading more through engineering circles than through battlefields. After the war, its design would inspire future weapons, including the American M60 machine gun and the German G3 rifle. Engineers around the world studied its features, understanding that the FG-42 had been a glimpse into the future of small arms. Meanwhile, the Garand evolved into the M14, and its design principles continued to shape military rifles for decades. In the end, the confrontation between the M1 Garand and the FG-42 was not just a meeting of two weapons, but of two ideologies. One was democratic, mass-produced, and efficient. The other elitist, complex, and visionary. Both were products of their nation's identities, and both changed the way soldiers fought. The men who carried them at Salerno could not have known they were witnessing the birth of modern infantry warfare. They only knew the weight of steel in their hands, the sound of their rifles, and the enemy before them. When the smoke cleared, the Garand continued its march across Europe, and the FG-42 faded into legend. But together, they marked the moment when the rifle became more than a tool of war. It became the embodiment of an age of innovation, and the soldier's eternal struggle for survival and supremacy.